Hello and welcome to today's tutorial. I'm going to be teaching you how to make a counter that counts up, has a background image and you can change, as well as a name that you can change. So you have to have Visual Studio 2019. I don't know if you have to have specifically 2019, but you also have to have the C++ stuff installed, most of it anyway. You also have to have this extension. This extension is a project format. Now I'm just going to check Visual Studio to make sure, not OBS Studio, to make sure it's recording. Okay, good. It's recording. Now, we have this designer. Now we click on designer to send it straight to the code. Now you can resize this to whatever you want. If you notice, it changes the size. The designer mostly does, it just auto-generates code for us. You can set the back color to whatever you want. But just make sure that it contrasts with the fore color. Now, the last time I recorded this tutorial, I made a lot of errors because I made typos and made myself look stupid. And I swore a lot. I'm going to try not to do this in this tutorial. So go here, get a button, get a label, here, make sure size where it's easy to read, and get a text box. Labels are just text boxes, but you can't edit them and there's no flashing thing that you have when you're editing text. And they're very good for presenting data. So, you're going to click. Okay. So what this does, when you double click on this button, it will actually go to the code and set up a function of what happens when you click here. If you notice, these things have a lot of properties. Well, when we click on this button, we want the label's text property to be set equal to that of the text box's text property. So every time we click on this, it will update it to equal the text box's property. When we type in name here, it'll update this to name. Very good. Also set another button. Yeah, click on this one so it creates a function. And action. We can set a background image. Now we can set this background image. Okay. Equals image. When it from file, and we're going to create a second text box. So what this does is that this will basically, when we click on it, whatever is in this text box, it will retrieve the file. Now if you spell it wrong, it's going to throw you an error. Let's just get to where my code was. Text box to text. So when we run this, try this out. C/users, but I gotta type in the directory file. Actually, I'm just gonna go to png /bg2.png. Hit this button. It will put this in now. The thing you might notice is that this is black right now. That's because I forgot to set this to a transparent background. So now we made it so you can edit and change a name and set a background at will. Pretty good so far. So we're actually going to create more buttons. So actually, before we finish this, we're going to declare some integers. Integers are number variables that are called by int. Create them with the int type class, ones digit, and we give them a name that we refer to by and a value that is correlated with them, and we can change. Tens digit equals 0. I'm only going as high as the thousands because that's all I need to go to show how this works. Zero, and we're going to set a total. The total will be useful for when we want to put in commas. Now you can go as high as you want, but I'm going this high because that's all I need to do to show how this works. So I'm just going to change the text on this button. The white might be hard to read, but I can still read. +1. Okay. You click on it. I'm going to add total. Plus equals 1. Basically, you can't just go +1. You have to show the amount we're adding plus equals 1. 1 digit. And we don't need to put the int when we're referencing them. We only need to put in the int when we're creating them. As you see, it has the int right here because it understands that it's that int. So we're going to put in some for loops. It's going to give us errors because we haven't put in the requirements for them yet. But we're just going to copy and paste these down. But I didn't put the for loops inside the for loop. That would be bad. So, if one's digit is greater than 9. So this needs 3 arguments, basically 3 things. Well, I only need 2, so I'm just gonna put this one twice. Although, I actually only need 1. But what the hell ever. So, the first grade math, I'm going to tell you, well, when there's 9, you add 1 to it, becomes 10, so you subtract 10 from, subtract 10 and you put 1 over. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be doing first grade carryover math. So, we're going to do 1 digit minus 10. Oh, minus equals. And we're going to add tens digit plus equals 1. And we're going to basically just put the same thing in here, but for tens. Minus equals 10. Hundreds digit. And I apologize for the background noise. There's a lot of them. Plus equals 1. So I'm only going as high as the 1000s because that's all that's needed to do this tutorial. Now, if you try and go above, then your variable say, then it'll just stop. Thousands, digit. 1. Oh, I got a lot of problems here. Oh. Okay, I'm just going to move this in the declaration. That one wants a semicolon. I'm just gonna put one here. I'm gonna shut up. And then, oh yeah, there's also something here. Now this for statement is expecting a declaration. The problem here is that it's been put outside. I accidentally put it outside of the function for button 3 click. Now it's time for suffering. Well, for me at least. If total if 10 is greater than the total, what it will do is print label 2. Oh wait, I didn't create the second label to put the numbers on. Label. So this can't really matter. Okay. Label 2. No, not. So what you're gonna say it's text value equals. There always has to be a string here for some reason. Don't ask me why. And now we're gonna do an else if. Because if we just did a normal if, well then we're gonna do else if smaller than 100. But it would go down here and says, okay, it would print 9, and then it would say, oh, this is also smaller than 100, because it's less than 10, so it definitely has to be smaller than 100, and then print 9 with a 0 in front of it, which is not good. So we have to do else if. It's saying that if this is not true, then check if this is true. Okay, now this is why I said we had to go up to thousands, because, you know, thousands, millions, whenever you hit those, put a comma here. Put a comma. Function, system. Oh, it looks like I have to put something, a string in first. There we go. I also forgot that. So, now we've created this thing. So, let's go. See, it counts up. So, we're going to copy and paste this code and put it in. Going to put it into other ones. Just ourselves another button. And you can also do this to subtract and make negative order tools. Like if you realize that you shot too high with your estimations, you can always just go down. But for this tutorial, I'm just doing this, because I'm pretty sure you can just replicate this. So we did this, that it basically adds 10. We don't need to check if the ones digit hit 9. Because it's definitely, because we're adding to the 10th digit. And you can just get another one. I'm going to go up to 100 because that's all I need to get to 1000 pretty quickly. Total 100. and I don't need to check. I don't need to check for so if you want to record something with this, just make sure to crop this part out at the top, because that's just going to look real weird. Also, it's good to label these with what they're. Now, the part we're going to do last is, how do we make this so that it automates? Well, pretty simple. First of all, we gotta create a bool. A bool is a true or false. Bool running count equals true. Now this may equals true when we haven't run background worker yet. Well, the thing is that the background worker will not start unless it's triggered to start. So it's pretty useful. So it's a while statement. While running calc equals true. And we can put our parentheses here, you know. Let's just scroll up to the ones thing, take this. Now, you may be tempted to put the stuff where you format it with the parentheses and print it to the labels in here. However, we cannot do that because do work function of the background worker cannot touch other threads. Well, we have this in a separate thread so it doesn't overload. Or also overload the program and the program will become unresponsive. At the end of this, it's gonna report progress. Oop, forgot something. Gotta go to this lightning bolt. And put in that, create that event function for it. Now, I don't know what the number means, but when I was taught to do this, you had to put a 10 in here. So, we can actually put this part in there. Now, here's an important thing. Don't go ahead yet. We need to add the delay, first of all, so that we can add it at a proper rate. Can add this at a proper rate. Second of all, if it's supposed to add a number of nanoseconds, do this like every couple milliseconds, it's gonna overload anyway. Now, for some reason, I can't remember this code on my life. Like, I will always forget this. So I usually have this open because that's just the one thing I can't remember. So we're gonna want sleep and fill. Now we can create a variable. Oh, we gotta include the files. Include chrono. Include thread. One of the only header files I can include for anything without having any errors. So we're actually going to want to put this in here. we're gonna want it to wait. Now actually, what you can do is you can create int delay equals, let's set it to 1 instantly. So that you don't accidentally click the button and then have this be unresponsive. So we can set this to delay. So as I've shown you before that you can actually, when you click on a button, you can have it change the value of a variable. So I want you to do this on your own. Make negative auditing tools that can subtract from a number, and make buttons to change the delay variable in order to make it have a proper rate. Now I've done this in mine, but I want to make this tutorial as short as possible. So, now that we've done this, we thought of making another button. And put this button on the bottom. Doesn't matter where you put it, as long as it's out of view. Load properties. Then we can do run. Put the name of our background worker and make it run worker. So now it runs when we click on that button. So tell me in the comments section if you were able to edit the delay function of variables on your own. Oh, I think I forgot to give functionality to the 100 button. Oh yeah. Oh, did I forget to give it? Oh no, God. I did this wrong. I think I did a problem. Oh, let's look at this problem. Okay, learning experience. See, it will not get above 10, no matter what button I click. So let's actually go here. So I'm actually getting a problem. 10 digits greater than 9. And subtract 10 from that. And add to the 100th digit. Looks right. Maybe it's a problem with the printing. Oh! That's a big deal. I accidentally forgot that. That was on me. That's on me, guys. So just go throughout your code and fix that, unless you did it right, unlike me. You know. And that should fix it. I'm not sure if I got all the buttons though. And I also have to change it in the background workers thing. Yep, now that's fixed. We're gonna add our comma. Now it should start. See, it's gonna add 1 to the number every second. And we can do stuff like add a name. Oh no. Oh no. I accidentally put the name thing in the wrong text box. That just goes to show you gotta label your text boxes. Name. Well, this is button 1, so I know first. Count PNG. Hold right here to restore. VG2.png. Set that as the background. And when I click button 6, it should start counting upwards based on how fast it is. And I'm going to stop this tutorial by going to OBS Studio. Hopefully it actually recorded instead of not recording. And tell me in the comment section what you used the counter for and how successful it was. That's all for today. Let me stop virtual count.